Yeah.
This time of year, it gets to be a little bit too much, but it's not. I mean, it's Arizona. We got a storm last night, a really good one, which kind of cleans things up. And I'm sure you guys run into this in Austin. You get a good storm, it kind of cleans things up, cools things down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's Arizona.
Well,
Plus, we're 6 weeks ish away from some of the best weather anywhere in the country during that time period. So.
Well, I'm not in Arizona. I am in Granbury. And so I mean Arizona, Austin, sorry. So Austin's about 3 hours south of us. So,
okay.
Yeah. So anyways, but it's hot here, man. It's too hot. It won't break. So
Where's
we are live.
Granbury?
Granbury's just south of Fort Worth, about 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you're up in that area. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got in my head that you were in Austin.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, Mike, we are live, brother. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
And I'm jealous that you're hanging out with Will Shaw, the legend. So I didn't even know that you knew each other. Like, that was wild. Like, I saw that on X, and it's like, oh, okay. I didn't know this. And it's funny how we kind of presume that if you meet someone, no one else knows who that person is. And then it's like, oh, this guy knows this guy. That's weird. And now y'all playing golf. Where'd y'all play at?
We played at Seville, which is of course in the neighborhood that I live in, and the course that Will and I will get out on whenever he's in town or whenever he's playing golf in this heat. So more times in the winter than in the summer. But yeah, we met a couple of years back, same kind of thing through X. I was posting pictures of playing, and then he ended up, he was at the same course, and we ended up just finding some time to go play. And then since then we've gotten out a lot. I give him crap about a lot of things, and he gives me crap about being a Jets fan and having a golf game that has kind of gone to crap and whatnot. But
well, listen, let me help you out. I will fly out there. I will be the third. And my game is so bad, he will never make fun of your game again. So I'll help you with that, because I am terrible. Like,
perfect. You come out and play golf, and I mean, I think that with the thing you got going on in Tampa, I think doing the same kind of thing with golf in December out here, golf gets expensive out here during that time of year, just because of how the area is. But yeah, I think it's an awesome game. And one of the things that people get hung up on in the game is everybody else is so deep into their own head and their own game that they're not worried about your game. The way that you get them to worry about your game is if you play really, really slow. Like, let's say your skill level is not really high, but you decided you're just going to continue to play every shot. That's probably not that doesn't make it fun for anybody, because then everybody's kind of waiting along. And there are ways to get better. But yeah, remember, nobody's paying attention to your game.
I'll give you one quick story. We were on Coronado Island out in San Diego.
Cool.
Playing a little tournament, little 4-man scramble, and I would hit my 5-iron off the tee box because I was so bad. And so the guys, one of my employees was with me. He knew why I was. Another guy was my buddy from South Africa, and a guy we didn't know. And so the guy from South Africa and this guy didn't know how bad I was. And they're like, hit your driver. I'm like, guys, I can't hit driver. So finally we get on one of these holes that happens that the right side is the ocean. And so I'm like, okay, I hit driver. First driver into the ocean. They're like, oh, do this. Second drive into the ocean. Oh, no. Do this. Third drive into the ocean. And it was like, it's either that one or one more. They're like, oh, put the driver up. We get it now. And so 5-iron off, or maybe pitch a wedge, whatever it was, off the tee box.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was. And so,
and I mean, that's it though. Like, have fun. Like, it's a social game. You can go out there and you can have conversations in between shots. Don't be social while someone's trying to hit. Which is what Will and one of the other guys that we play with, Pat, like to do. They just like to chit chat, and they're kind of like,
Will, come on, guys, like, hush, Will, come on. Well, I always feel bad because I'm so bad that I feel like, okay, like I'm like a black hole. My game just sucks every one game into mine. It's just so bad. It's brutal.
And you know what? The other thing that's kind of fun to do is get out and play in a scramble. Where you're playing best ball type stuff,
right?
And you work in the team environment, and then know your role. Like, hey, your role might be just to be the first person who takes the roll at the pot, and just kind of so that everybody gets the line and understands speed and all that other kind of stuff. Like, just know your role, and before you know it, you're definitely playing a couple of the I'm going to save you type shots.
Yeah, the scramble is definitely my game because none of my shots are used. And like I can drive the cart, I can carry the club for you, I can get the ball at the cup, I can do all kinds of stuff. Like this hitting the ball where you need to be, don't count on me for that. So okay.
Get some of those quiet signs and hold them up for the
I can do that.
like,
I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. I can tell you some funny stories, but counting on me to hit the clutch shot is not what you want. So, all right, well, let's hop into what people are dying to hear, I'm sure. Mike, who are you? What do you do? We've connected on X, obviously, but for those who don't know, the few who don't know, everyone knows you. So explain what you do.
So you were talking about that where you're like, hey, I figure, so-and-so doesn't know somebody. I walk around the world thinking everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Just like, like, hey, so yeah, Ryan, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ryan who?
Yeah, exactly.
He's wearing different hats for whatever reason. He was wearing a Red Sox hat the other day. I don't understand it. But so I'm a connector of people, not like you are I don't have a WWE or WWF or whatever the belt is. Like he's changed it. There we go. Padres. Nice work. So
you call them hat out. So
I've been fortunate enough to live in a couple of different places, and each place, because I'm not a big baseball fan, I collect baseball teams. So when I was in high school, big Angels fan, because I played not too far from where I went to high school, and then started to get into San Diego, and so Padres fan, Diamondbacks fan. Anyhow, I moved around a bit. Born in New York, lifelong Islander fan, lifelong Jets fan. Hate everything related to Boston and those other places. So that's where you see the Sox stuff, and it's just like, but moved to Southern California when I was in my freshman year of high school. So even though I was born in New York and born out on the island, I grew up in Southern California. That's where I learned how to drive. So I kind of got both sides of that. I'm a ops guy who never wanted to get into sales, and then got into a customer success role with an ed tech company. Always moved down organizations. So I went from a large organization like UPS into a small organization that had about 1,200 people, and then to a smaller organization that had about 50 people, and just to the point where I launched a business 11 years ago now. And my primary focus is to help people get better at leadership, how we move forward, culture, how we do what we do, the operations side of things, revenue, how we fund the ability to do what we do, and execution, how we achieve results.
Okay. So having run a company before, it's weird, at least this is how I viewed it. There's a certain culture, certain style that you want. Sure. I didn't like being the person who had to put it out into the world. I just wanted to be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Just go do it. And what I found is some people like that. Some people love that. Some people don't. And so for people like me who are like, I don't want to get down the weeds, like just go do the stuff. What do you tell people like me?
So let's work through it a little bit. So I want to make sure I understand it. So the issue is, tell me what it is that you didn't like doing versus what you felt like you needed to do. Like walk me through the scenario.
Yeah, that's great. You're bringing back some old memories here.
Therapy.
Therapy. I don't have to do it anymore. So it's like painful therapy. Well, back then, the clients would put a lot of pressure on us, right? A lot of pressure from the clients. And there's always a balance of how do you convey that this has to be done to an employee who will never speak to a client, but they have to make sure that the work is done to make the client happy. And that was always kind of the back and forth, because you wanted to say, listen, they are cussing me out like a dog. They are threatening to fire us. Get in there and do the work. But if you did that, they might crumble. And so you had to figure out how to balance that emotion that you're feeling the pressure. Like you're going to lose your job if this isn't done, but you can't tell them that because then they might crumble. And so how do you handle stuff like that?
Yeah. So when it comes to communication, and this is a critical path item for achieving results or execution. And I like to use the word execution. Some people don't like the word. So it's achieving results is a softer way to say it, but ultimately we want to get to the outcome. Customer says, I need to write in black. I need to write in black. For those of you who are watching the video, I have 3 different writing utensils, tools that I can write on. Right. One of them will not work on that whiteboard behind me. The other one will work, but it would be really hard to get off. And the other one is designed to be used for it. the reason I share that is because there are things that are said, there are things that are heard, and there are things that are remembered, and very rarely are all three the same. So, similar to what I did with you when you said, "Hey, so how do you handle this?" I had to ask for some clarification. I need to understand the context.
Yeah.
So the first piece is make sure that everybody understands the context. So you say something out loud. One of the questions you do as a follow up is say, it's just ask the question, "Hey, what did you hear me say?" So, hey, I need you to go right with black and let's say in more detail, it's going to be on a whiteboard. And this is what I need you to build. Like, just repeat back to me what you heard me say. And now we can bridge the gap between said and heard. If you don't bridge the gap between said and heard, it will never be remembered. And if it isn't going to be remembered, it isn't going to get done. It isn't going to get delivered. And so many people have different things that are going on. I mean, I'm a Jets fan, an Islander fan. Neither of my teams have won a championship in a long time. Now, when I was a little kid, the Islanders rolled off 4 in a row, but it's a long time. So we all have different things that we're dealing with and coping with. It could be the Jets losing a game on Monday Night Football when they were up, or it could be an argument I had with my wife, or it could be that I just got a bill, or I got, like, right when we went on, I got a note from a customer's like, your agreement it didn't renew. We can't pay the invoice. They're like, no, I've got a signed copy of the addendum. All different things can happen that create distraction. So if you ask that question, what did you hear me say? Now you can clarify that what was said was actually heard. Or if someone's trying to convey something to you, repeating it back and saying, hey, here's what I heard you say. The next step is who will do what by when. So now you go from said and heard to remembered by clarifying. And this is like project management at a super basic level, but who will do what by when? You as the developer who's working on the program that has to fix the bug, I need you to do this by this period of time. This starts to create that level of urgency and importance and clarity around something that needs to happen. They don't need to know all the details behind, if you don't do it, someone's going to get fired or whatever. Like, it just, I mean, that's going to get in the way. It gets in the way of the job to be done. So let's clarify what the job to be done is. I want to write in black on a whiteboard. Okay. What do I need to do? So that's how I do it. You break it down into small pieces, incremental steps all the way through, and then a lot of clarification. And then once that happens, and this is a big miss that a lot of people make, a lot of people run into, we were talking about this whole thing around like, being founder dependent or owner dependent inside the organization, right? So I can't leave the business because if I leave the business, the stuff isn't going to get done. Or I won't be able to hold my team accountable. As a leader, if you think your job is to hold someone accountable, you're doing it wrong. Your job is to help them hold themselves accountable. How do you help them hold themselves accountable? And that gets into that who will do what by when. I don't know. Helpful?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back because, and you tell me what I got wrong here. I don't have to do it anymore, so it's okay. You can say whatever. What I would do is early on, I'd put, when I was really young, I was like 22, I started running the company. So just a complete idiot, you know. But later on, I had a certain amount of staff that I interacted with a lot, and they would talk to the client and stuff. So they would kind of know. And so when a lower level employee would mess up, my frustration, I would bring them in and I would say, hey, hey, Mike, I'm not mad at you, but here's how I feel right now. And I just let them have it.
Hey, I'm not mad at you, but which means I just lied to you. I am actually
no. I'm mad at Tom. I'm mad at Tom. I'm not gonna go say this to Tom because it's gonna come out wrong. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about Tom, and then I'm gonna let you take that to Tom, and you go tell Tom to get this problem solved because you deal with Tom all the time. I don't. So that's one way I would deal with it because they knew that how to interact with me. But I love what you said about what I say back to you, because I have a wife, I have 4 kids, and the amount of times where something is said in this house and we live together, I work from home, the amount of times something is said and it's misunderstood is crazy. And so we think in the work environment or in life in general that you say a word, people get it. And that is just not true.
Think about it, where you're based and where I am. If you go a bit further south, you go across a border, right? So if I'm holding up an apple and we're looking at it, we're both looking at the same apple. Where we live, that's an apple. Further south, that's a manzana.
Right.
It didn't change.
It did change.
The word we use around it change. So you run into this inside, like you see this in cross-functional revenue teams a lot. What's a lead? What's a contact? What's an opportunity? What's a deal?
Gosh, yeah.
What's what's an account? What's a contact? What's a marketing qualified lead? What's a sales qualified lead?
I was thinking that same MQL and SQL. I was thinking about that when you were going through it. I was like, oh man.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we get different, and here's the thing. When you, we're running into this with the AI stuff. If you outsource your thinking to somebody that you heard on a podcast or on something like this, or up in front of a group at a stage, and you adopt their definition without validating it among your team, you're screwed. You're not going to get anywhere. So what you have to do is come together and align and say, hey, this is our playbook. This is our definition. When we're the Padres, we wear a brown hat with gold lettering. We do not wear the hat that I had, which was a blue hat with white and orange lettering. Like that's just a different one, different colors. It was part of the team. It isn't part of the team anymore. So like, so let's make sure that we're aligned on how we're going to go to market, or how we're going to achieve results, or how we do what we do from an operations perspective. And I think that's one of the big challenges people run into with culture. Culture is not ping pong tables and sodas and, and unlimited PTO. Culture is, this is how we operate. These are our operating principles. These are our guiding principles. This is how we make decisions. It's not core values. Core values are personal. What I value is going to be very different than what you value. But, and you got different stages where kids are and all of that other kind of stuff. Like, let's not try to impress our values onto people. Let's use operating principles. And that's how you kind of detach and move yourself out of the day-to-day in the business and start to reduce dependency as a founder, as an owner, and let go of some things. And you'd actually be pretty surprised at what people can accomplish when you let things go.
Oh, yeah. Well, so two things come to mind there. One thing, and again, you can just slice me up here. I used to tell employees, if I ask for something at a specific time, I need this at 10:37. Just assume that 10:37 for some reason is why I need it. If I say I need it tomorrow morning, you can get to me before lunch. Now, if either of those things conflict with previous things I've told you and it's too much, you're free to let me know, because don't assume that I'm remembering that when I say that. And that's what I'd say. So is that good or bad? Like that or don't like that?
As a leader, you think about this. How many times when you were working for somebody, and they're like, hey, can you take care of this?
Yeah.
And you're like, God, all right, yeah, I can take care of it, but I got a bunch of other things to do. But you never push back. You don't go back and say, this a really healthy question. Yes, I can take care of it. When do you need it by? Right? Like, never assume that I, as a leader, have any idea what you're working on right now.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea. Right. So how, and I would run into this. I run into a lot of this stuff with clients, with a member of the sales team that I'm working with, and the owner of the business calls up, and they're like, hey, Mike, I got to take this. It's Tom. Like, do you think Tom knows what you're doing right now?
Right.
Do you think Tom absolutely hair on fire needs you right this second? So then I would talk with Tom and say, hey, Tom, just remember on this stuff, your team thinks I've got to pick up the phone immediately because I've got to be there every minute when you call. And what ends up happening is they drop certain things and then everything else gets stacked up. So having some operating guidelines around, or operating principles around how we communicate and how you communicate with your team could be super, super healthy. And that's where you get it. For me, what I tell people is, look, I am probably going to respond really quickly because I have a bad habit of keeping my phone on me.
Yeah.
That's me. It's my own illness. If I don't respond within 24 hours, something's happened. I probably lost track of it, like any of that kind of stuff. So follow up, and don't ever assume that I saw it. You can follow up with me, and that starts to create a healthy set of boundaries and expectations when it comes to communication.
Okay, and if you go from different age groups or different industries, how much of what we see, the complaints online about, person A came from this industry and they don't understand, or our company hired someone who was too old or too young, they don't understand. How much is that actually truth versus it's just a person didn't invest in, development to get learn the new lingo or whatever it might be.
So I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know, I mean, I've got some um, biases around it. I
Yeah.
don't know what the real answer is. I know that a lot of times people will go in and say um, that I need to have so and so who has so much experience, and like
Hmm.
when you can see when people copy somebody else's job posting and they ask for things like the big one that they used to do was when someone would ask for Ruby on Rails experience and they wanted 10 years of Ruby on Rails experience because 10 years meant you were an expert, and at that point in time Ruby on Rails hadn't been out for 5 years. And you're kind of like, well, hold on, no, no, that expertise doesn't
Doesn't
exist.
exist. Yeah.
It's not there. So I don't know. I'm a big believer of foundational like foundational pillars and those having an impact, because the reality is we're all human beings. We all for the most part have a couple of eyes and a couple of ears and a mouth and a couple of hands and a couple of feet, and we do different things differently. We've got this functional way to do certain things. Now, some of us are really good at doing certain things, and
Hmm.
some of us are not so good at doing others. Some of us like to do certain things, and some of us don't like to do others. So when you're looking at fit, technical expertise, I don't think is as important as fundamental skills. And the reason I say that out loud is because if you're a company who's innovating, who's working on doing things differently than the way you've done them before, why do you need someone to come in who knows all of the things that you've done before? Like so I think we over index on it, and then ultimately we get into the trap where we say, hey, we're not innovating, we're not creative, we're not thinking about this stuff, and it's because we haven't brought other experiences into that environment. So I think we probably, that was a long-winded way of
Yeah.
saying I think we overemphasize that industry experience when the reality is we can actually learn a lot from taking experience from other areas, putting it into the industry, and then using that as a way to do something a little bit different.
I'm agreeing, and obviously I'm more of a journalist, and so I kind of my bias is there. But
Sure.
I was meeting with a roofer
Yeah.
a few months ago, and I've never sold a roof in my life. I can
Yep.
barely spell roof, and they did commercial roofing, and we sat down and we're talking, and they were looking for
Yep.
some sales help. And I was like, "Well, have y'all thought about this? What about that?" Now I have no idea. I'm not. And they knew that. I knew that, and I brought up. I said, "Well, have y'all talked to CPAs to see if their clients need new roofs for a tax deduction? Because you're slow at the end of the year." And he goes,
Yep.
"No, we've never done that. That's actually not a bad idea." And I'm like,
Right.
"Okay, you're slow. They're slow this time of year. Maybe you should talk to them." And I'm not saying to say I'm a genius. It could have been a terrible idea, and I'm sure I had a few. But when you bring someone outside, they're going to throw out terrible ideas that won't work that but they're also going to ask questions like that. And it's like, oh yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. I didn't think about that. And so I don't know. It's really weird because it feels like we've we say we want the expert, and I get why we say that,
Yeah.
but man, true expertise, like if you wanted the best commercial roofing sales guy consultant in the country, they're going to cost a lot of money. You really don't want to pay for that. You really don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that people who understand how to get things done, how to make sales, how to grow companies from different industries might not have something to say. So it's a weird balance because they're going to have bad ideas. I'm sure I had some bad ideas at that meeting, but you bring things to the table. It's like, oh yeah, that's to me it was obvious. Like, I don't know, am I off the rocker there? What do you think?
Well, no, because what I like about what you did is you asked a question. You
Yeah.
didn't say, you didn't make a statement,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And there's a very, it's, you want better answers, ask better questions, right?
yeah.
So we go in there and we ask a question. When you ask a question, a how question, like, well, yeah, it's very different than a why question. Why questions can get people defensive. Why'd you do that?
Mm, yeah.
Like versus, hey, how'd you get there?
Hmm.
So have you ever, and in this instance, it was like, hey, have you ever considered doing this kind of a thing? And everybody around the table was like, no. And they might say, well, why and where's the fit. Well, here's what's going on here. This
Mhm.
is what people want to do. Here's an opportunity for things to go. The money can move a little bit faster because it starts right at the time that a
Yeah.
job is put under contract or whatever the thing
Yeah.
is. And it provides a different perspective on being able to get in front of the people that they can serve. And I think it's the approach that's more important than the piece of information. And it's the
Mhm.
question that gets asked that helps people start to think a little bit about what they're doing. And you think about if I put my hands up here, right, and I put them right here, I can only see them through the video camera.
Mhm.
I've got blind spots. Now, if I
Mhm.
turn my head, then I can see this hand.
Mhm.
That question creates a opportunity to shift perspective a bit, a speed bump, something that's
Mhm.
in there that helps them see a little bit of something a little bit different. And it's not, the blind spot's not there because you're deficient.
Mhm.
It's because you're so focused on doing the work that you're doing. You're in the moment. You're in the business. And this is that other piece that you talk about with the dependency. It's, are
Yeah.
you in the business or you're working on the business? What are you letting go? How are you building the next level of leadership to take things forward? So I think you're right on it. Asking the question, it's amazing what ends up happening from a creativity and innovation perspective.
Well, and you've touched on owner dependency, and I think that is one of those things. Bezos has the one-way, two-way door framework. I bring that up a lot. Have you
Okay.
heard that?
Yep.
Are you familiar with one-way? Okay, yeah, and I love it because I used to say something and I thought it was really smart, and then I heard him say that. I'm like, that's better. So I'm stealing that from Jeff. Jeff, call me if you don't like it, brother. I'm
There you
taking your one-way, two-way door thing. Owner dependency, fixing that. If you go all in, it is a one-way door, but you can do it in a two-way door method, right? You can say, okay, sales, I'm starting hiring salespeople or ops or finance or whatever. You don't have to say, I'm stepping out of the business tomorrow and I'm not coming back. Don't call me. That's a one-way door decision. You can make it a two-way door decision, but all these things we're talking about, to my perspective, are two-way doors. How do you get better at communicating? How do you get better at sales? How do you get more creative in your thinking? And why is it that in the small business world, it feels, maybe I'm wrong here, push back. It feels like owners too often think of everything as a one-way door. And yet they do stuff that's counterproductive to their bottom line because it's a tax write-off or whatever. And stuff that could help them, they don't want to spend the money. And they think it's like they treat it like a one-way door. It's like, guys, this is not, you wasted 20 grand. I don't want you to waste 20 grand, but you wasted 20 grand. Who cares? You just bought a new bass boat, brother. like the 20 grand that you might waste here is not that big of a deal. And I don't have a 20K offering right now, so it's not like I'm trying to justify it. I'm just saying it's a problem for me. It's a real pet peeve of mine. Do you see this a lot where they think of everything as a one-way door and it's really two-way doors?
Well, it's the bigger one, and I don't know, when you said one way versus two way door. I was thinking about it more from the decisions.
Yeah.
So if the way that I understand it is, I make a decision,
Hmm.
and then there's no turning back from
Yeah.
that decision. I
Right.
can't reverse it.
Mhm.
Where on the other ones there's reversible decisions, which
Yep.
so asking this question out loud, hey, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that can happen in this instance? What do I want to test? Where are we go? What is my hypothesis? Where can I experiment? Those are the things that can help people get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to play here for a little bit. Like, we're going to test something. We're not going all in. We're not going and buying a new building. We're going to go rent some space for a little bit in
Yeah.
an area and figure out if that's where we need to be.
But
Or
but
we're not
but
going to
let
go.
me
Go
cut in
ahead.
real quick because I think make sure we're on the same page here. Clarifying question, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, buying a building is a one-way door. You go spend three, five, two, $10 million. Okay, that's a loan, all that stuff. Renting is a two-way door. Um, what I'm articulating is that it seems that most people tend to think of everything as a one-way door. Like it's everything as that. So if you hire a consultant to
Got it.
help you with this, that's a one-way door. Like we could lose $20,000 if it doesn't work out. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you could, but that's a
Yeah.
two-way door. It's not going to cripple the business. If it's going to cripple the business, don't do it. I get you. But
Right.
most of these decisions are two-way doors. And so owner
Yeah.
dependency, in this case, which I was starting off of, if you want to remove yourself from the business, you can make that a one-way door decision, where it's
Yeah.
You go to Thailand for a month and you can't you leave your cell phone. They can't get you. That's a one-way door. Okay, like that's a one-way door. But you can do it in a two-way door way, which is like hire a sales manager, hire an ops manager, and then if it doesn't work out, you replace them. And so that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of ways once you understand that the one-way door. To your point, once you go through it, man, it's tough to get back. That's what Bezos says.
Yeah.
But most things in small business land are two-way doors.
Yeah. Well, and it's the I mean, maybe it's, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is. The bigger thing that I see is it's really hard for people to just let go. Like they're just like, if I'm not here, this thing won't happen. Or I'm so focused on the way that I've done it. What if, is somebody else going to be able to do it the same way? And more of that kind of stuff. It's like, I'm special. That's the bigger thing that I tend to see. Now, part of that may be because of the experience I have on the tech side of things, where there were in some cases are really smart people and they are special. But what ends up happening is you start to look at it and say, well, hey, what are some instances where you've been able to outsource a part of it? Just like carve off a section of it. Amplify your capability instead of augmenting it. And then after you've amplified it, then augment it when it makes sense, because you're making a test. And those can be just little things. Like maybe it's not outsourcing all of the sales part, but it's taking a component of that process that you don't get a lot of energy out of, that doesn't bring you a lot of joy, that you can have, that is a high impact, that you can kind of get something, you can find somebody else who might be able to do it. It's the bigger issue I've seen on the decision-making thing is that people think that decisions have to be made based on a single criteria. Think about that time where you make the call or somebody else calls in and says, hey, can you do this? And there's the Eisenhower matrix, which is around urgence versus importance. So I've got a 2x2 up here. This is mine, but I'll erase some of the stuff. Let's just say that I'm an owner inside a business and there's certain work that just sucks the life out of me. Absolutely sucks the life out of me. I hate being, I just hate it. So I want to avoid
CRM. Updating the CRM, fulfilling orders, sending invoices, a lot of stuff. Yes.
Just absolutely sucks the life out of me. So I've got a plus sign here. And so on the other side, there's things that build me up. I get a lot of energy when I'm in front of customers. Like I really enjoy the back and forth and the excitement and the world building and all of that other cool stuff. So I've got things that suck the life out of me and I've got things that build me up. Well, the next thing, that's one piece. And if I do everything based on things that build me up, I may ruin my business, because some of the stuff that sucks the life out of me has to happen, meaning I have to invoice customers or else money is not going to come in, right? So then the next thing I want to add in is a y-axis, high impact, low impact. And this is high impact and low impact on others. I can optimize for money here on things that build me up and have high impact. On the things that are low impact, that suck the life out of me, I can eliminate those, or I can outsource them. I can find some technology to take care of it. But now I've got a speed bump in my decision-making process to help me reduce risk, overcome blind spots, and start to make some more effective decisions. And the hard part is figuring out what your 2x2 is. For me, the biggest one is ego and loyalty. Like if I go back in time and look at bad decisions, things I said I was going to do, or choices I've made that didn't work out the way that didn't work out as well as it could have. One of those two things has gotten in the way, ego or loyalty. So I ask myself, based on the criteria that I'm making a decision, is this ego driven or is loyalty impacting it? Either one of those. And if it is, then I have to go to my board of advisors, my group of friends, and say, hey, I'm struggling with this thing. Can you help me? Because I'm going to have some really big blind spots. The key here from a decision-making standpoint, know what the decision is that you're going to make, and then know how you're going to make it, and give yourself two criteria that you're going to use to make that decision. Because if you do it all on one, your risk is going to be a bit higher. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's how I think about overcoming that challenge.
No, I kind of took the Eisenhower matrix and kind of rewrote it, called it the focus flow grid. And so the top right was like, where you flow, like, but it's also high ROI. The bottom right was the fun zone. It's low ROI, but you love to do it. So it's great. Like, let's have these big brainstorming sessions. No one's, and the bottom left was the drain zone. And then the top left was the grind zone. It had to be done, but man, it sucked the energy out of it. It had to be done by someone competent. You couldn't get a tool. Like, you have to have, the bookkeeper or the controller or someone like that do that work, or a lawyer. But if you have to do it, because a certain part you might have to, it's really a grind. And so that's kind of how I used to.
Well, and what's cool about it is you can find people who get energy out of the stuff that sucks the life out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like there are bookkeepers in the world who love working through spreadsheets and doing all that kind of stuff and making sure all the numbers match and all that. That is not me.
I can't spell Excel. Don't call me. Yeah. I'm with you. No, it's so that's kind of how I retooled it. But yes, I agree. And it's funny because what I used to advise people on is that bottom left zone, that drain zone. There's probably more of that right now. If you actually tracked your time, you would realize there's probably more of that going on than you can get rid of today. And once you start getting rid of that, you're going to have more of that grind zone, because that stuff's got to get done and you're going to hate it. And so then you got to decide, how bad do you want to get rid of it? If you have the money and the talent pool at your disposal, go ahead and get rid of it. If you don't, now you know how much you hate this stuff. So the sooner you can get rid of it, the better. But you didn't have to, so like you think about like an invoice. Well, putting the invoice in and sending it out, that's probably the drain zone. You can probably hire someone. Calculating the price, making sure the cash flow is right, that's the grind zone. You got to have that right. And so, but people would kind of lump all these tasks together, and they would say, oh, getting a customer means I get the customer, I create the invoice, I send the invoice, I balance the books, check the bank. It's like, no, those are a lot of different tasks that you could actually break up and look at quite differently. And it's a thing that where I don't think a lot of people track their time properly to see that they're doing stuff that really drains them.
One of the things that can help you as you go through it is break each of those pieces of work into separate them by jobs to be done.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you're not familiar with jobs to be done, Clayton Christensen wrote an article in the HBR, Harvard Business Review, a number of years ago. And if you do a search for jobs to be done and milkshake, you'll be able to read the original piece. And when you go through and you start to deconstruct things that are happening inside the business into the specific jobs to be done, then you can go through there and say, oh, okay, on these ones that are clustered, how do I either replace myself with some piece of technology, with a lot of the workflow stuff that's out there with AI? You can start to replace yourself on some of those things. How do I replace myself by bringing in an admin or an EA to take care of those things? Do I need to throw a human at it? Or how do I batch those things into individual areas? So now I know, just like the thing that I've got to do, which is every once in a while go out and clean pool filters. Like, I just know, hey, go in there, take care of it. Because if I don't take care of it, then something else is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Go take care of it now and be good with it. But when you deconstruct stuff and isolate for specific variables, now you can start to feel more comfortable transitioning that into somebody else without feeling like you've completely lost control over everything, which gets back into your piece around the one-way door versus two-way door. You don't have to do it all.
Not at all. No. Well, and I think I'm curious your thoughts on this, because I used to tell people to do the 15-minute time tracking thing. Okay. I don't want to track my time 15 minutes, but to your point about you have to realize that these are different jobs. If you just say, well, for the last 2 hours I worked in the books, it's like, well, you did probably 2 or 3 different jobs inside of that you could have isolated. And so the 15 minutes really makes you look at, like, oh, I was actually doing manual data entry here. That's actually what I was doing. Here, I was calling a client about a late invoice. That's a different level. Maybe you don't want to pass it off. And so 15 minutes is one of those things. I don't recommend doing it for life, but for like 2 weeks, you will hate yourself for doing it, but you will see so much of extra stuff that you're doing. That's been my take.
You can, and I've actually got a time tracker that does that stuff, where you go and do it, just a Google sheet where you're keeping track of it, doing it by day. And then over time, you can look back at the week and reflect on the week and say, hey, where was I on both this energy versus impact and on the Eisenhower matrix, importance versus urgent? So you can see it there. And if anybody's listening to this and you want to see that thing, just let me know via X, and I'm happy to share it with you. It's a very simple Google sheet. But What's become really cool with the technology now is you can take pictures of things and then have that stuff load into data. You can have like even just really rough notes and sections on a whiteboard can be through optical character recognition can be turned or converted into text. So it makes it really easy to do it. Here's another way that you might want to consider doing the thing. Just think about the 15 things you do every week. Whatever those 15 things are, write them down on a list and then put a little check mark every time you do it. So list of 15, you could do a list of 20. You might struggle to find 15 things you do every day. I mean, our kids are out of the house. So we're not taking kids to, to football or swim or any of that kind of stuff anymore. So those things change over time, but you're like, what are the 15 things I'm doing every day? Because just like your nutrition, you likely are eating the same food over and over and over again, but you think you're eating something different every couple of nights. It's just that you've got your go-to things that you come back to. Have that list and then put some tick marks on it. And then when you go back through it at the end of the week, which are the ones that had the highest amount of tick marks? And then it's not as intense as, hey, every 15 minutes I got to click a button and say this kind of thing. So a couple of different ways to go about that.
Okay, so I'll let you just diagnose what's wrong with me. We got how many hours we got here? Okay, so one of the things I'm doing a bunch of networking, as you know, and so how I think of this, it doesn't really matter if it's networking or sales or whatever.
Yeah,
I try to think of the end goal and what the end goal is, and then how do I make that as likely to succeed as possible and as fast as possible, right? So that's what I'm trying to understand. Yeah. Okay, so for me, what I do is I built. It's not, I mean, I don't know. Okay. I have AI that takes all my calls. It's like the call me and you were on. I told you this, right? It's in my AI. And so now anytime someone talks to me, it's like, it's looking to see if it's a good fit for Mike or not, because I need Mike to remember me. I don't want him to forget me. And he forgets me quite easily because I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. Now the Padres might change that. But, and so I'm going, okay, how do I compound the interest so much? Like the old penny a day, if you doubled it kind of analogy, I kind of think in those terms, like, how do I do it? But the kicker is I don't want to remember everything Mike told me. So I have to use AI, because if I don't use AI, I'm going to forget what he said. So I try to think about like that. Okay, how do I maximize what I need to do? In a perfect world, it's me having perfect memory, perfect recall all the time. I don't have that. So I have a VA and I have an AI tool that really focuses on this. And that makes me not be dependent on myself, because I know I can't do it. So I almost kind of stress myself beyond doing 6-8 calls a day. I live stream a day. I can't remember all this stuff. I just forget. And so is that the right way to think about it, or is it too far, you think?
Well, there's never really, there's the right way for you. Like, does it work? So here's the thing. Like, there are a lot of people who go out there and just keep doing the same thing every day. $80 a day, $50 a day, whatever. And they're not hitting, they're not getting where they want to go, but they're doing the work because someone said, hey, this is the activity work you need to do. And nobody's going back in and reflecting on it. So when you identify a goal, and then you have your strategy, your actions, buckets of actions that align with that goal, and then you have the tactics, the work that aligns with it, then now you've got a plan. That's for me, that's the game plan. And it's a thing that I've got out there. So the key part about understanding the tactics in the daily work is now I've got a checklist of things that I'm accountable to doing. So I can hold myself accountable to doing it. And I go in and I do it. And then what ends up happening is if I did the work, I should be moving closer to my goal. If I didn't do the work, I can't assess whether or not that work worked or was the right work for me. Yeah. But if I did the work and I'm not moving closer to the goal, now I have to fire the work. So in your instance, from a work perspective, hey, capture the information, use it, have it organized, then go back in and say, test against it. Say, just as even if it's not for a client or somebody else that you're going through, just say like, hey, who do I know in my network that's really good at this thing? Yeah. And just test the tool. And if the tool finds that person, good. If it doesn't, then ask the tool. This is the cool thing about the AI stuff. Hey, what about Mike? he said he did this. How come you didn't see it? And
Yeah.
the tool will come back and be like, you got me.
You got me. Yeah.
I screwed up. I'm sorry. Let me go reassess again, because they hallucinate. They make mistakes. Yeah. It's more like, does the tool fit the purpose? And before you know that the tool is going to fit the purpose, do you have the skill to create leverage with the tool? And before you know what skills to build, you have to understand what you're defining around. So that's mindset. So it's mindset, skill set, tool set. So there's always a framework that you can to assess against, and each of them are going to allow you to deconstruct the problem into smaller pieces so that you can make effective decisions based on actual data. And I like the way when you said, hey, I've got the AI tool that's doing this. Do you remember what I said?
No, Mike, I told you I don't.
I have one of those memories where I remember everything for whatever freaking reason. It's awesome. It's both a gift and a curse. But what I said is, I said, okay, Brian, this is for your AI tool. When you come across people who are looking for this, and this, go into Mike.
Yes, I remember that.
This, and this. And that's the clarity around ICP and all of that other kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Because if I know that you're using a tool like that, now I'm going to help enable you to use that tool as effectively as possible, and not be all over the place. Because one of the things that happened after that conversation, I shared some things that I was looking at. You connected me up with Matt. Matt connected, after a really good conversation with Matt connected me up with Mike. I had the best conversation that I have had in months yesterday afternoon with Mike around some stuff in the M&A side of things. And it was like,
hold on. Wait, what Mike? I don't know about this. I missed this.
It was absolutely amazing. Matt will be able to drop in the name or DM. But anyway, it was absolutely amazing, because there was so much alignment around why Mike does what he does and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But we have different routes that we've been going through and doing it. So it's those kind of conversations that when you put yourself out there and you have the discussions and you're not bullshitting people, like, and you're just like, this is it, then some amazing things can happen. And that was a function of us having the conversation that we had, and then you making that introduction, because I'm trying to learn more about the capital space. Like, I know nothing. I know how to make money. I don't know how money moves and money works. And that's where some of those other things came up. But it was absolutely amazing. And that was a function of us meeting each other.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that's interesting, because you did say that, I remember that on the call now. But you know how people I've told it to, and I'll tell them, if you email me anything, it goes into this database. And people have started to email me like, hey, Ryan, this is what we're working on. And so it's in the database now, which makes my life easier, because I don't have to check in with them on what they're doing, because they're saying to me. But also, it makes my life also easier, because now when I talk to someone else, the AI goes, oh, wait, Mike's working on this. Go talk to Mike. And I didn't have to remember it, because I will forget. Too much. I'm just not that smart. And so,
well, you had asked me to email you something, and I have not sent the email to you. So I still owe you that. That's on my list. But one of the other things you said, and this is the memory thing, you said, hey, if at any point I say that I'm getting ready to go to New York City, do this. And I know that. So now I'm like, I know, hey,
I forgot about that. You do. It's awesome.
Like, it literally. So, but that's how my, like, I listen with intention. I'm deeply interested in what people are working on, where they've come from, how they started doing the things that they're doing, like all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so that's a good thing. I hate email. And emails where stuff goes to die with me. Like, there are a lot of people who know this. It's, look, if you need to get a hold of me, you send me a text message, and you will get a response. If it goes to email, the best thing to do is then send me a text message and say, hey, and I've got a whole group of people that do this. They're like, Simmons, I just sent you an email about this. And a text message. It's like, that's just, but it's because people understand what my workflow is and my expectation. Like, but anyway, so it's been awesome meeting you. And then it was really cool to see Will on the live thing. And I was like, how do I get on the live thing?
Yeah. Well, if you go full circle, what you said at the beginning was, I don't have the memory you do, but you talk about we talked about saying stuff, asking clarifying questions, and being
Yeah.
clear. You were very clear. It sounds like, hey, if you need me, you can email me, but I'm probably going to check it. Text me. And people go, okay. They might be thinking that jerk won't check my email, but they're still doing it, or they might not care. It doesn't matter. The clarity of what you're saying gets them to do what you need them to do, and so they're boom. It works. And obviously that you can push it too far and be a diva, and that's not what you're doing. But there is something to the clarity that it's like me saying to people, if you email me what you have going on, it's in my database, and people do that. And I love it because I can send people to them. It's so much easier. And so I do think we to your point about the clarity thing, we don't say, hey, I'm terrible at email. If you just text me, I'll get back to you. 99% of people won't say that. I know some people who are terrible at email, and I wish they would say, if it's text, call, carrier pigeon, I wish they would just tell me what to do, because they never respond. It's like, I need a response, and I don't want to be the jerk like, hey, I just emailed you. And so, yes. So the clarity there is very nice. So I won't email you. I'll DM you or whatever. I'm not cool enough to have your cell. So I have to DM you.
Well, I'll make sure you got my cell. Like even in that conversation with Mike the other day, before we wrapped up, I said, you mind if I give you my cell phone? Just because that's going to be the best. And so we're able to text now, but that is now in DMs. Okay too, because the way that I kind of work through my workflow, but my email, I mean, and this isn't anything other than I just like using search for email. I don't delete stuff. So I've got 15,000 freaking emails out there.
Yeah.
I can go in, if you say that you sent an email, I can go through and do a quick search and find it. The other thing I do, this is the other cool thing about having, my family in the business, is like in an instance, where I now another great connector, and I know you and Bordy are going back and forth on this connection, but Bordy had connected me up with someone. I'm going to be on a panel for two of their events that are coming up later this year. And
oh, nice.
What I said to the person on the other end is, look, send the email, but include Jen, because she will make sure this stuff gets done. And the person on the other end was like, I need a Jen in my life. And everybody needs a Jen.
Everybody needs a Jen. Yes. So, I recently added a VA. It makes my life easier because I don't want to do the email stuff if I don't have to, but I have to, not so much anymore. So, okay. We're running up the clock here. Got the website here. Where can people find you besides their website? What's the best way to contact you? Obviously,
that's it. Go to catalystsale.com. You will see everything there. You'll be able to link out to the social stuff. You're watching this live on X. That's the platform that I'm most active on. It is, I hate LinkedIn. My goal is to never feel like I have to log into LinkedIn again by the end of this year. We'll see if we can make that kind of thing happen. But yeah, go to catalystsale.com. You'll find everything there. Connect up with me on LinkedIn. Send a direct message. I'll respond to it. The thing that helps me most.
Connect with you on X, not LinkedIn. Connect with you.
Oh, sorry. Connect with me on X.
No, you're trying to have to log into LinkedIn. You just said that.
See, as much as I'm clear, I'm confused. So and that's the whole thing. Remember, like, hey, there are things that are said. I thought I said it right. You heard what I said, and I was wrong, and you corrected me. Thank you. So connect up with me on X. And the thing that is super helpful for me is if you have a question around leadership, how we move forward, culture, how we do what we do, revenue, how we fund the ability to do what we do, or execution, how we achieve results, send me that question, and I will either point you to something I've recorded on it or help you find the person who is the expert on that thing. And I challenge anybody to that. Any questions, leadership, culture, revenue, execution. I'm here to help people do the things they want to do better and faster.
Awesome. Well, man, it was so great to do this. Love to do it again in the future. And yeah, if you ever receive the email, it goes into the database. But now I know you hate email, so I don't expect. I do have some ideas for the anti-email people that I'm working on, but I'm not going to say that just yet. So
I will get you the email. It is on my list. It's just a matter of me getting to the point where I do that thing. I appreciate you. A lot of interesting things have happened since we first connected up, and it's all part of that. So thank you. And thanks to Matt out there.
That's the man. That's the man. So awesome. And Bordy, just so you were clear, Bordy has admitted publicly that in some areas I am better than Bordy, just to be clear. I don't know if you saw that or not.
What I like is that everywhere I see you walking around with the belt.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. I know I got to call in 3 minutes, so I got to go. But listen, it was great. We'll pull the plug here and we'll talk soon, brother.